What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of the best team in FIFA. Today I've got a pretty awesome French squad for you guys. It is 500,000 or less. Some of you will have these guys untradeable, some of you will have SBCs. But yeah, 500,000 coins maximum for the squad that we're going to be putting together today. Now, if you guys are enjoying the best team in FIFA and you could leave a like on the video, that'd be amazing. And of course, if you wanted to become a YouTube member, link and perks are down below. And of course, in the members Discord that we've got going on, I will be picking squads for the best team in FIFA. However, today's squad is from me. And it's from me because I wanted to just have a look at some of the ridiculously good looking cards that don't get used very much and figure out if they're very good or not, or worth, you know, the price tag or whatever. And so as you guys know, it is a full French squad, and in goal, we start off with our main man, Lecomte. So this guy has actually got a very, very strong card. He's only 6'1". I prefer my goalkeepers to be at least 6'2", 6'3", or higher. But 6'1" is pretty good, 3-star weak foot, and then he's got ridiculously well-rounded stats. Really high in diving and reflexes, really high in kicking and positioning, really high on handling, and phenomenal speed for a goalkeeper as well. So we've got him in goal, and Lecomte is currently selling for 25,000 coins. And now, again, although I say that this squad is worth 500,000, it is worth 500,000, but what's beautiful about this team, so for example, this guy, you could pick him up for 25,000 coins, and then worst case scenario, you could just discard him and get, what, I think 21k back. 22,300 coins back. So he essentially has a value, like a coin deficit value of like 2,500 coins, which is absurd. I find that to be absolutely amazing. In at right back, guys, we've got Pavard. So in terms of Lecomte as well, no chem style put on him. I like how well-rounded he is. I want to boost all stats instead of some stats. Pavard in at right back, guys. 3-star weak foot, 2-star skill move, 6'1". As far as the fullback goes, I actually really like the medium work rates. I like the fact that he doesn't have high attacking work rates, so he's not going to be caught out of position as much as anyone else. He's got really well-rounded stats. Again, as you guys know, something that I personally look for in my defenders is high reactions and high ball control. And he has those in abundance. 93 reactions, 94 ball control. He's got really good agility and balance, which means he'll be really, really nippy. Obviously, he's got great pace with the Enquiries, goes up to 96 sprint speed, 96 acceleration. His defensive stats gets pushed up to the high 90s. His physicals as well. I think Anchor gives him plus 10 strength and plus 5 aggression, something like that. Gets him into the mid 80s to low 90s in there. And he's actually just a really, really complete defender. And this guy as well comes in at 24,000 coins. I'm surprised we don't really see this card much ever. For 24,000 coins, being a Frenchman, he's easy to link to so many cards. And from the Bundesliga, there are so many quality Bundesliga players that you can link him to as well, that I'm genuinely surprised that I don't see this guy more. You know, he's got really good crossing, really good passing. He's just got all the benefits of a great world-class fullback. And on the other side is another defender that I just generally don't see very much. And I think the problem is that Pavard has only 89 base pace, and Hernandez has 85 base pace, and I think that's why we don't see these guys utilised very much, because there are other fullbacks out there with like 95s and 96 base pace that people use. But Hernandez coming in at 25,000 coins as well. Medium-high work rate. So much like Pavard, I really like the fact that he's got medium-high work rates because he's not going to get caught out of position. He's nice and tall at 6 foot. And again, another one with great defensive stats. Now, you could put a shadow on him if you really wanted a big pace boost. It would take you to 99 acceleration and 93 sprint speed. I've gone for engine, which takes him to 85 sprint speed, I think. Is it 85 sprint speed? I can't remember. Let me get onto Footbin real quick and have a look at Hernandez's stats with an engine. And I'll explain why I went from an engine. Yeah, so he goes to 88 sprint speed and 96 acceleration. The reason why I gave him the engine is because I wanted to boost his balance and ball control, which I did by 10 by balance and 5 on ball control. And I actually think, as far as a fullback goes, his defensive stats are like outstanding. 99 slide tackle, 95 stand tackle. He's got really high strength and aggression already. His composure's good, but obviously I wanted to boost his dribbling, and I wanted to boost his passing as well to get that long passing up, but also to get that vision up. The engine boosts that vision by 5. His vision's pretty low. I don't really know what impact that has in this game. But all in all, with an engine chem style, this guy is great. And if you can't afford the 24,000 coins for him, or you're worried about taking a loss, you can go and get his Team of the Season card, which is also 24,000 coins to buy. It's a little bit worse, but it of course will discard for 20,000 coins, or 21,000 somewhat. So you'll only lose a very small amount if you went and got that. But that's our fullbacks and our goalkeeper, guys. In the middle of the park, we are going with Umtiti and Kimpembe. I was blown away. Now, Umtiti, I actually had him, and then I sold him, and then, because I was just clearing out my club and I forgot that I had him. I bought him for 60-something thousand coins initially, and then sold him, and now he's up at like 82,000. On Xbox, he's actually down at 70,000. I don't know why he's so expensive on PlayStation right now, but yesterday he was 66,000 coins. I don't know why he's spiked in price. I don't know what the reasoning is. But even still, at 82,500 coins, I would personally put an anchor on this card as well. You know, he's got such great stats, really good reactions and ball control again, ridiculous pace. If you did want that huge pace boost again, you could give him a shadow. I personally think an anchor is more than acceptable. Takes him up to 90 acceleration and 89 sprint speed, boost of defending and the physical to make him just a really well-rounded card. And for 80,000 coins, I do think he's incredible. And then Kimpembe, who I also had and then sold because I packed him untradeable. This Kimpembe card is 25,000 coins. 25k. Now on this card, you got a wealth of options as to what you want to do. His defensive stats are already unreal. High slide tackle, high stand tackle, high interceptions, high physicals. His passing is also very good in terms of short pass and long pass. His dribbling is pretty decent. Again, in the areas that you want, he's got great reactions, great ball control and composure. You need to boost that pace. And I personally would say you can either go for an anchor again and take him to 85 sprint speed, 90 acceleration, and then boost defending and physical up highly. Or you could go for a shadow and just whack that pace right on him, take him to 90 sprint speed, 95 acceleration. I personally put an anchor on him. I think that's probably best suited for him there. But that back line, guys, other than Umtiti, who's like 60 to 80k, depending on the time of day, I guess, every card here is under 30,000 coins, and they've all got amazing stats. In at the right midfield spot, guys, we have got Tovan, 95 rated Tovan, and he is selling for 50,000 coins. Now, the downside to this card, weak foot 3-star. I do like my wingers to have 4-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves, but the upside to this card is it is immaculate. I mean, it is great. We've got an engine on him to boost that sprint speed, boost that balance, and boost the passing up, get that long passing up, get that vision up. But this card is brilliant. Like, good strength, great stamina, good physicals generally, well-rounded. His dribbling is great, his passing and shooting is great. For 50k for this card, I don't know why I don't see this card more in the game. I genuinely don't. I can't put my finger on why we don't see this card a little bit more. On the left-hand side, we've got another card that is super, super cheap, and that is Lamar. Now, Lamar goes for also 50,000 coins. I understand a bit more with Lamar why he doesn't get used so much, and that's because he has a 2-star weak foot and 3-star skill moves. But I wanted to test out Lamar because I just wanted to have an understanding as to whether or not his stats were important or his peripherals were important. Like, what's important here? The stats that he offers you, or the fact that he has a 2-star weak foot and a 3-star skill moves? And for 50k, this guy again, who I would give engine to on this one, and of course we gave engine to Tovan as well. I'd give engine to both of these guys. He's got great shooting. Obviously, volleys and penalties largely irrelevant. He's got insane dribbling. He's got phenomenal passing, and with an engine, those reactions, of course, go up to 95. His physicals are very good as well. Great stamina. This is a really, really well-balanced card that for 50k, I think, goes unnoticed. Now, the one downside to what we have on this midfield so far, without looking at the other two midfielders, is that I have two wingers that have poor weak foot and relatively poor skill moves, although Tovan does have 4-star, but I have 2 left footers. So having a left footer on the right and a left footer on the left, I'm not overly blown away by that, but at the same time, I also think that's not going to make much of a difference. Now, our centre mids, guys, the first one is with Bakayoko. This Futties Bakayoko for me is amazing. As you can see, we played 34 games with him. I find him to be brilliant. We've got a shadow on him because I wanted to boost that pace. His reactions and ball control are good enough. His passing is very nice. His physicals are amazing. His defence gets boosted up to max 99s with the shadow. I know not everyone has this card and can use this card, so if you don't have this card, I would suggest either NepentheZ, who comes in at 23,000 coins and has very comparable stats to this card. In fact, better in shooting, better in passing, and better in, well, same on physical and dribbling. He has a lot less pace than NepentheZ, but you could use NepentheZ instead of Bakayoko if you wanted a really cheap player in the 20s, low 20s. Or you could use Tolisso potentially here, and Tolisso would come in at about 70,000 coins. And again, one of the more expensive cards. Now, this is a 500,000 coin squad, but if you take out Mtiti and if you take out a potential Tolisso, this actually comes down to like a 300k squad. So I would personally use either Tolisso or NepentheZ if you can't afford Bakayoko. I would actually personally go for Tolisso. He's got more pace, more dribbling, more shooting, more passing than Bakayoko, and only a little less on defending and physical. Actually, quite a lot less on defending, 6 defending points. But again, with a Shadow Chem style, you're going to get those defensive points straight back up. And then our other midfielder is another Frenchman that has absolutely mental stats that is super, super cheap based on that. And that's Fekir. He's 70,000 coins. Again, one of the downsides is he has a 3-star weak foot. He's got 4-star skill moves. He has got a genuinely phenomenal stats. I've given him a Maestro Chem style just to boost up those stats, dribbling, shooting and passing, because his pace is great for a midfielder, his physicals are great for a midfielder, his defense is already too low anyway to be impacted, so we've just boosted shooting, passing and dribbling. But this card for 70,000 coins is outrageous. And when we look at the team so far, I love what I see. We've got a lot of pace, we've got a lot of good stats. What we don't have with this team, which could impact how we play the game, is we don't have a 4-star weak foot player on the team anywhere. 3-star, even then we don't have that. That's my bench. So Lamar 2-star, Bakayoko 3, Fekir 3, Thauvin 3, Hernandez 3, Mtiti 3, Kimpembe 2, and Pavard 3. So we don't have a 4-star weak foot player on the team, and that could be a problem for some people. You know, that might be the downfall of you with this team. Up front, guys, we've got 2 absolutely incredible players. First and foremost, we have got Anthony Martial. This guy is the difference for me. 4-star, 4-star. As you can see, 28 games, 46 goals, 15 assists during the time that I've played with him. I know also some people won't be able to use this Anthony Martial, so if you're looking for a replacement for him, I would actually say put Fekir up front. And then instead of the 2 Futties winners cards in this midfield role, if you can't get them, if you don't have them and you can't use them, I would go for the Tolisso and NepentheZ duo in the centre of the park, or Matuidi, Tolisso and NepentheZ. Like 2 of those 3, whatever you want. Once again, the problem with Matuidi is 2-star, 2-star, so it's another bad midfielder in terms of weak foot and skill moves. But yeah, if you can't get the Footies winners, you can play Fekir up front, no problem at all. If you can get the Footies winners, I put Fekir in midfield, Bakayoko there. And then last but not least, of course, it would be no good French team without the icon that is Olivier Giroud. Now, this striker is 30,000 coins or so for either his Path to Glory or his Festival of Fuck card. I've played 8 games with him so far. Outside of this video, 12 goals, 3 assists. Once again, another player with 3-star weak foot, 2-star skill moves. But this card, it's just crazy. I've given him a Hawk because I wanted to boost his physicals, and I did want a small boost on his pace as well. And there's nothing else that gives pace and physical boost for a Chem style. His shooting obviously doesn't need the boost. I love the fact that he's got great reactions, great ball control, great composure. He can pass, he can shoot, he's strong, he's tall. I'm actually excited to get into the games and use this card. And then in terms of price, Giroud obviously comes up at 30,000 coins. And that's the squad, guys. Now, we built it into a 4-4-2. We're going to start in a 4-4-2. My custom tactics are as follows. Build up play a little bit higher. We've built up our crossing a lot because we have that Giroud up front. And I've put the team nice and wide because I really want to exploit the wingers. I really want to exploit Lamar and Thauvin and make sure that we get, basically just good wing play out of this team. I think that's what we're going for with this team. And in terms of player instructions, Giroud, stay central, target man. Anthony Martial, stay central, get in behind. Our wingers, stay forward and stay wide for Lamar. Stay forward and stay wide for Thauvin, and then the back line is just exactly what it was before. Nothing changed. So that, guys, is the squad. As I say, 500,000 coins for this squad. We're going to go into Division 1 with this team. We're going to play 4 or 5 games, and we're going to see what we can do. Let's get into the action. Okay, guys, so as we go into the gameplay, the first opponent we come up against has got a 4-5-1 team, a really good team. Team of the season De Bruyne, Rijkaard, the 97 Neymar. He's got Zanetti at right mid and Calagiuri at right back, and he actually switches those around. And I can't remember exactly what formation change he made, but he put Calagiuri in at centre mid in this team, which was interesting. And this, in terms of the win-loss rate with the team that we had with this gameplay that you're about to see, we ended up winning 3 of our 4 Division 1 games that we played here. We ended up playing this guy. This was the only loss that we took. We lost 5-4 in the end in this game. But this guy was a really, really good player. I messaged him afterwards saying GG. Turns out he was a viewer of the videos and stuff, so well played to him. But we get the first goal there from Olivier Giroud hitting the shot down off the post. Now, we talked about a lot in the build-up of the team and the build-up towards the gameplay of something that is missing from this team. And the things that are missing from this team is 4-star weak foots, 4-star skill moves. And I think that's very fair to say and could pose problems. But outside of that, no, like in FIFA, it's about knowing your team and knowing your opponent's team. And one of the beautiful things about having this team is the fact that I know these players well enough to know not to try things that are irrelevant. So there's no point in me trying to cross the ball with Lamar's right foot because it's never going to do anything good. There's no point with me trying to do skill moves with Bakayoko because he can't even do the standing heel-to-heel flick. And there's just basically no point in me trying to overplay this squad. And after watching the FIFA E-World Cup over the weekend and watching MS Dossari absolutely obliterate everyone with his incredibly kind of defensive, passive play style, I started implementing that into my own game a little bit. And although it started off quite shaky because I'm nervous when I've got the ball in those defensive areas as I don't know the passing channels, I eventually got to grips with it really, really well and started crafting and creating lots of chances. And because of the way that I started playing this game, I actually conceded 2 really cheesy goals to this guy. Because of the way I started playing this game, because of the way I started emulating MS Dossari's play style, and hey, I'm not saying I'm as good as him, not even close to as good as him, not even near to being as close to as good as him, but because I started emulating his play style in Division 1, it really started having positive impact on A, my results, but B, it wasn't a bother that this team lacked creativity in terms of skill moves, because if you watch MS Dossari, he rarely does a skill move. And every player can do the drag back, and every player can do the fake shot and the fake shot stop, which are already really overpowered skill moves anyway. But look at this for a goal, for example. On 5-3 down here, we get a good passing move into the box. Giroud holds it off, lays it back into Thauvin. Thauvin passes it one out to Anthony Martial. Martial just waits for the space, finds Giroud. Giroud out to Fekir, back into Martial. Great finish and just a great goal. You don't need good skill moves for a goal like that. And as long as you know your players, as long as you understand how important and how impactful their weak foots are and their strengths and weaknesses are, you can get away with not having the 4-star weak foots on all of them. Obviously, Martial is a bonus because he is 4-star, 4-star. Thauvin does have 4-star skill moves, but for the rest of this team, not so much. But you can see they end up losing 5-4. In what was a really even game that could have gone either way. And we're coming up against great teams here. The second team we come up against 2 of the best centre-backs in the game. For me, one of the best left-backs in the game. That De Rossi card, who's amazing. Milinkovic, Savic and Allen, who are amazing. Ciro Immobile is amazing. The only downsides to this guy's team probably is wide players. Obviously, Callejon, again, another guy of 2-star weak foot. And, we've got our own 2-star weak foot players here. But you'll watch me now pick apart player after player after player. Martial gets in the shot, the rebound from Alisson falls to Giroud. Giroud, because of those 99 reactions, gets to that ball first in spite of the fact that he doesn't have the pace and scores a goal to make it 1-0. We then get a lovely little 1-2 between Martial and Giroud. Martial with the chip, and that is 2-0. And again, Giroud getting involved nicely. I set him as a target man on purpose. I want him to be a guy that links up the play and that is in the box for the crosses. I don't want him to be a guy that is in the, trying to run in behind and stuff to get the goals. And again, the goal we scored there, a lovely goal to make it 3-0, come from a good pass from Giroud through to Lamar. Bakayoko gets in behind here. Anthony Martial squares that one to Giroud, who shoots and scores to make it 4-0 before half-time. And this game just carried on and carried on and carried on, getting goals after goals after goals. And that was a beautiful thing about this team and about this formation. Throughout this year, we've all known that the 4-1-2-1-2 is a go-to formation, the narrow version that's super overpowered, and also the 4-2-3-1 is a formation that's super overpowered. Now, the 4-1-2-1-2 is super overpowered because it's super narrow and it allows the ease of 1-2s to break opponents down. In a competitive setting, I actually don't think it's very effective as a formation. You very rarely see the pro players use 4-1-2-1-2 narrow at the event, but you see them use it quite often in FUT Champs, because against your casual players it definitely has a larger success rate because people don't understand how to defend the 1-2s and the narrow play. But the 4-2-3-1 is always efficient because you've got 2 CDMs, 2 wide players and central base players. It's a really well balanced formation. Me personally, I don't particularly like it because I like having 2 strikers. And so for me, having the 4-4-2 formation is so great because I get the luxury of having 2 strikers. I get the luxury of having wingers, which allows me to incorporate wing play. And I get the luxury of still having defensive-minded midfielders if I want them. And of course, we have Fekir, who's an offensive-minded centre midfielder, and Bakayoko, who's a great defensive-minded centre midfielder. What I would love is to potentially use a 4-1-2-1-2 wide, but when I've used that formation, I found myself really exposed in the centre of the park, you know, both offensively and defensively. The reason why offensively is because your Bakayoko sat so deep, your Fekir sat so high, you've got no one to pass to actually in the middle. And then if you get countered, your wingers are out and up the field, your cams up the field, you've just got no midfield at all. So having the 2 central midfielders is great. Into the third game, guys, we come up against another super team. Team of the season De Gea, team of the season Cavani, 95 Neymar, team of the season Mbappe and Fekir, Alessandro Del Piero. Generally speaking, an absolutely phenomenal squad. And what a goal we scored to start things off. Again, taking this build-up play from MS Dosari, just seeing the passes that are the right passes instead of just rushing my attack really does help me create a lot more spaces and a lot more chances. And we get our first goal here with Olivier Giroud. He bangs balls, man. And like there's a few players in this game in general that seem to belie their stats. And what I mean by that is that they shoot the ball harder than other people, even though 99 shooting is the maximum. And Giroud is one of those cards that just hits the ball so hard that goalkeepers can't really save it. So we go 1-0 up in this game with a nice goal from Giroud. We end up conceding a couple of goals in quick succession. Cavani there goes through. Good finish from Cavani to make it 2-1 for my opponent. And again, this was a hell of a game. You know, this guy was a good opponent. He had a really, really good team. We do end up getting back in at 2-2 with the, we tried the cheesy cross there, ends up falling to Anthony Martial. Martial gets in behind, cuts it across to Giroud, who hits the volley there to make it 2-2. So a nice goal to get in at 2-2. I was in control of this game though, you know, again, I was playing the slow passive play and it really winds people up and it really does help people, or help me draw people out, like just spreading the play constantly. Martial here with a heel-to-heel flick, gets in behind, great goal, great finish underneath the goalkeeper to make it 3-2. And then not too long after this goal went in, we go 60 minutes on the clock now, we get a corner. Corner comes in, goes short, pass this one into Olivier Giroud. He just turns around in the box, shoots and scores, and again, what a great goal that was to make it 4-2, and that's where my opponent rage quit on this one. So we get a 5-4 loss in a really tight, really tense game, an 8-2 win against a super team, 4-2 rage quit against another super team, and you can see by the match stats there, I just held possession, I dominated the game in general, had more chances, scored more goals. And then into our final game we go, guys, and we come up against another super team. Now, this guy already has the Futties Manalas winner, and that's saying something because that means he's already won his 9 online division games. He's got that De Rossi card that's a beast, Maldini a beast, Dybala a beast, Cavani, Henry, Marquisio. That team is incredibly well-rounded. The only person that I personally wouldn't use on that team is that Verratti card. I don't favour him, don't value him as a player in this game. But we get a really good goal here with Olivier Giroud as well. Nice little 1-2 on the edge of the box with Lamar. And another brilliant low driven. I didn't think Giroud would be the top scorer for me out of these set of games, but he was. He scored more goals than Martial. And the midfielders generally didn't really get that involved in the goal-scoring action, which again is why I love the 4-4-2. We do end up conceding a couple of goals. This guy makes it 2-1 again, a couple of goals in quick succession. But I stayed true to my gameplay. I stayed true to the style of FIFA that I wanted to play. More often than not, specifically in FUT Champs, when I go a goal down, any new style of play of FIFA that I'm trying to work out or anything new that I'm doing goes out the window, and then I end up just rushing my play, desperate to get goals, and it cost me. This time around, I was like, no, I'm gonna create chances. Even if I only create 1 or 2 chances through the rest of the game, I know I'm gonna create some chances, and I just want to make sure I take those. I got it back to 2-2, and there's Giroud again with an absolutely stunning strike. He makes it 3-2. My opponent does put it back to 3-3. Lovely little back heel there. I did intercept it once. I intercepted it twice. He manages to bully me off the ball the second time, and then he hits it with Dybala, and it actually takes a deflection to go in the 70th minute at 3-3. However, not too long after kickoff here, 5 minutes or so after kickoff, Tovan, lovely little bit of work there, gets the ball into Fekir. Fekir lays it into Giroud, passes that one off to Martial. Martial gets in behind, and watch this for a finish, guys. Lovely low driven, slams that one home to make it 4-3, and that is where we ended up winning the game. This guy actually rage quit, paused it, rage quit, and we get ourselves a 4-3 win. So we did concede some goals with this team. And I think that I could half contribute that to me trying a new play style. Like I said, when I'm passing the ball around the back line, I panic a lot. And I see MS Dosari do it, and he does it with just a consummate ease. He's really, really competent with how he passes the ball between his defensive players and his defensive midfield players. And I'm not good enough at it yet. So I gave away possession quite often in those areas as I'm trying to learn this play style, and that cost me some goals. But you can see here, guys, the chem styles on the players that didn't have chem styles currently, the stats. Generally speaking, this team was awesome. Obviously, having 4-star skill moves, 4-star weak foot on your creative players would be much more beneficial. But if you have Bakayoko and Martial, this team is under 400,000 coins. If you don't, it's 500,000 coins. It is worth every coin. I had a lot of fun with this squad for 500,000 coins, and I suggest you guys try it. This, though, guys, is going to be the end of the video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, rating, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But for now, guys, I'm out. Peace.